On today's show, we return to the Perth Motorplex for the continuation of the AHG Sprintcar Series. Tonight's event is also doubling as a tribute to the legendary John Day, a man that has made a magnificent contribution to speedway racing in Western Australia. You'll meet the man known as the General, and we'll take you through the innovative new chase format being adopted in the AHG Series. Plus, Charmaine stumbles across one of America's finest, rampaging Randy Hannigan. Our coverage supported by AHG, your motoring partner. On Speed, this is the one and only Chequered Flag, presented by Valvoline Engine Armour. Great to have your company on the Speed Channel around Australia, and welcome to another blockbusting episode of Chequered Flag as our 18th year celebrations continue right here on the Motorsport Leader. Well, a great field of drivers here tonight to contest this round of the AHG Sprintcar Series, and as an added bonus, weather conditions here in Western Australia are absolutely ideal. And furthermore, a really good crowd is making its way into the venue. Of course, tonight's event bolstered by the appearance of the American professional Randy Hannigan. We'll hear more from him later on today's program. First up, it's good evening to Charmaine.
We're here tonight for Australia's #1 domestic sprint car series, the AHG Series. Welcome race fans to round 1 of the chase, where all points will be set back to 0 and the Dirty Dozen will battle it out for the championship. The aim of the game is to be the highest point scoring driver over the next 4 rounds. There are 2 rules: finish the A main and finish as high up the leaderboard as possible. Anyone who has won a feature race will receive 1 point per feature race win to start the chase. However, any driver who has been suspended throughout the season will not be eligible to win the chase.
Following the completion of the 9 rounds contested so far, the chase will consist of the top 10 overall from the regular season, plus 2 lucky dogs as voted by the general public via the Sprint Car Entrance Group Facebook page. The Dirty Dozen that will take part comprise of Ben Element, Jamie Maiolo, Mark Wells, Cameron Williamson, Brad Maiolo, Nathan Brady, Sheldon Brady, Lee Nash, Daniel Harding, Cameron Gessner, Jason Kendrick and David Priolo. Leading the point score prior to the chase, Ben Element has been a consistent performer this season, despite not winning an A-main so far. He is ready for the challenge that he and his rivals now face.
Yeah, absolutely. We sort of used a lot of those rounds as test sessions more or less in the end, so it was pretty good for us, but consistency wins championships and it's still a little bit like that, so hopefully we can get our nose out in front and see how we go.
Having won 2 A-mains this season, Cameron Gessner missed a few rounds due to World Series sprint cars and fell out of the top 10 as a consequence, relying on the fan vote to be included for the chase. Fortunately, he was given a lifeline following Ryan Farrell's disqualification, and whilst he admits some sadness for his fallen rival, he is happy to be given that lifeline by default.
Yeah, I am. At the same time, I feel really bad for Ryan. He's a good mate of mine, and I hope he's on the road to recovery. He's good for our sport, and I think we need him in our sport. He's a lively character and an interesting character at the same time, but he's one of the good guys, I believe, and hopefully he can get past that. But at the same time, you know, we're really excited to be involved in the chase now. It was good to be rid of that Facebook vote. It was a bit of a debacle, but you know, we're in now, so that's all that counts, and hopefully we can get the Coral car up the front and hopefully win the championship.
Last season, he finished runner-up in the AHG Series, but this season is one that Jason Kendrick would rather forget. However, by virtue of being voted one of 2 lucky dogs by the public, he is relishing the second chance as well as the opportunity to regain the consistency that he wants.
We just need to try and focus on finishing races. We haven't finished because of, I suppose, part failures, so a lot of it's out of our control, but hopefully we've got a change of luck. We had a good run last week, so we've got something to build on, so hopefully we can put something together this week.
The other lucky dog voted into the chase is David Priolo. However, he is ineligible to win the series, having been suspended for misconduct at the Western Australian Sprintcar Championship, though that suspension has since been upheld.
Yeah, it is a little bit disappointing. Look, at the end of the day, from what I understand, it's like the Brownlow. I can still win the chase and everything like that. I just won't get there to be called the champion, you know. But at the end of the day, everyone knows if we get there in the end, everyone knows who the winner is, and it just it'd be really great for the boys as a team thing to get up there and get it done.
So there you have it. That is the state of play here in Western Australia heading into tonight's event. It's a beautiful evening, as I've said, and great to see so many young families here in the crowd tonight. I'm joined in commentary by two very fine sprint car drivers in their own right. Firstly, Sammy Walsh, good to work with you again.
Thanks, David. It's a pleasure to be here, and hopefully we can kick this chase off with in fine fashion.
And for the second time on this season's Chequered Flag Series, Warren Ferguson, good to see you too.
Yeah, good to see you too, David. I'm looking forward to this race tonight. A couple of Americans in the field to really shake up the chase.
Indeed, and a good-looking field on the circuit here for heat race number 1. Been a while since we've seen the AHG Sprintcar Series on Chequered Flag. We certainly do approach the business end of the season now. Wells on pole, one of the all-time great WA Sprintcar pilots. Beside him, Brady in car 13. Randy Hannigan from America, car 53, inside second row. Pigden, Mayolo, Williamson, Gessner, Priolo, and over the page, Daniel Harding in the Tucker Time Mercedes-Benz entry towards the back of the pack. So let's see how the racetrack surface plays out early in the night here. So the drivers stand on the gas in heat race number 1. And predictably, Wells got a great start up on top of the speedway. Trent Pigden away also nicely in car number 19 as they sort themselves out down the back straight. Sammy, the track is like lightning from the outset.
It looks really nice for an early racetrack. I mean, I think by the end of the night we should see some grooves opening up and the track widening up quite a bit, and a lot of great racing.
An incident with Daniel Harding on the exit to turn number 4. So Warren, a bad start to the night for the young second-generation driver.
Yeah, it certainly was. The track's fairly wide and fairly racy already, and if you have a look at a couple of these guys, I know Benny Element there had jumped up about 4 or 5 spots, so I think Harding might have just got caught out.
Yeah, the track's about as good as you'd ever get it for a first heat. Underway again, Wells, a carbon copy of the race start prior. Let's see if we can get one lap completed this time. Pigden quickly into second place, but there's the race leader, multiple West Australian Sprint Car champion, former winner of the King of Wings Classic 2.
Wells will definitely be hard to run down up the front there. Pigden had a great start and moved a couple of positions forward, and that's going to be great for his points towards the end of the night.
Tremendous onboard shot there of David Priolo, one of the genuine fast boys here in the Golden West. No one's as quick as the man out in front. During the early stages of this race, Wells has all the momentum up on top of the speedway. Warren doing a great job.
Yeah, he's looking good. I just noticed coming off the corners there's a little bit of dust starting to haze off those tyres already, and you can see how far up near the wall they are. I think this place is going to be really racy by the end. We'll have a little bit of a cushion there, and we'll see plenty of slide jobs late in the night.
Hope you're right. There is Kendrick up on top of the track. A replay for Valvoline engine armour as these cars slide through turns 3 and 4, and Jason Kendrick, speaking of sliding, there's a slide job to advance a spot. A good job by a determined Jason Kendrick, who's had an indifferent season by his high standards. The update.
A great move by Kendrick there, because he's come right from the very rear of the field to get up to 4th place there, so he's really got that car hooked up.
Yeah, he's on a march. There's Pigden, one of the best presented cars in national sprint car racing. An alternative onboard view now, a little lower on the Randy Hannigan machine. That is a great shot, isn't it?
Especially when the car's up near the wall like that and you get to see just how fast the cars are moving. You can see the fence flying by, and the best thing about having a track like this so early in the night is it produces good, pretty awesome racing straight away. It allows the fast guys to come from the back and move around a lot, and I think the crowd enjoy it when it is like this.
It's just such a big place, isn't it? It's all about momentum, finding your groove. It doesn't necessarily have to be upstairs. as we know later in the night, this track does produce multiple racing lines.
Well, that's it. You just got to, well, pretty close there for Wells. He's, don't think the lap car knew he was coming up on the inside, but he gets away with that one and takes the win.
Does he ever? And that was a big moment. I reckon he took a deep breath as he worked his way through the final couple of corners. So there are the results on screen. Wells too good. An outstanding performance by Kendrick. The charge through from the back. Pigton consistent as always. Riolo and Mayolo. Track looking really good here. Here's a word from the winner.
Wellsy, great way to start the night with a win.
Yeah, we didn't time trial that good, obviously, being up the front there. So, had to get a win and try and look after the tyres at the same time. So, yeah, it was good.
And it's very important to make sure you finish all heats and feature races, isn't it?
I think the points for the SCG, I think that's just for the feature, but obviously you got to finish your heat so you can start further up in the feature. But yeah, the main thing is just to finish every feature race and keep your points up.
Yeah, Wells, despite not time trialling all that well, certainly showing now that he's got terrific car speed. Looking forward to heat number 2. And one of the reasons I'm looking forward to it is because it features the other American here tonight, and what a gun he is. I refer to Shane Stewart driving the 17 car, the Miracle Recreation Equipment machine. There's the field: Dowling, Mayolo, Nash, Shane Stewart, Brady, Lee Nash, Luke Dillon over from Adelaide. He goes well. Good, Terry and Beckingham. And Luke Dillon enjoying success at this circuit previously. Had a very good World Series Sprint Cars campaign underway in heat race number 2. The track is really quick. They are gunning it down the back straight, and Dowling the leader on screen, car 87. Here's Mayolo. Jamie, the defending AHG Series champion, up into second place.
Most guys are opting to get right up on that cushion up there, just above mid part of the racetrack, and try and build their momentum. But as you can see, there's a few guys trying to run through the middle as well, pick up a little bit of moisture that's been left behind, and advance the position forward.
At the back of the Shane Stewart car, we were looking for Valvoline engine armour. Now Alan Nash in car 51 up on the inside, and Mayolo involved in a good battle with him as they exit turn number 4, and Mayolo just had a problem. His car speed dropped appreciably. There's the American Warren, Shane Stewart.
Yeah, he's certainly going well. He's probably one of the most equipped cars at the moment. Everybody looks like they're a little bit loose for these track conditions, and Dowling out front and Stewart there are actually getting the power to the ground and going forwards.
Jamie Mayolo taking no further part in this one. He retires the 99 car onto the infield. Gee, Carl Dowling is flying out there. Carl has done a fair bit of 360 racing over the years as well. And speaking of 360s, the man charging behind him, Shane Stewart, one of the world's best in that class, Sammy.
Definitely, mate. He's won the Knoxville Nationals multiple times, and the ASCS 360s. He's one of the top runners in that field as well. So he's no slouch in the 410s or the 360 class.
Alan Nash in third. Luke Dillon back in fourth. Warren Luke Dillon showing that he's right up to it on a national level. An outstanding performance in World Series this year.
Yeah, Luke's done a great job. He's filling in the Ryan Farrell car at the moment. He's really moved up on the national scene, and right now in the West he's going as fast as he's ever gone.
Well said. Dowling, leader. Look at Shane Stewart starting to mow him down. They're separated now by about 10 car lengths. Onto the back section they charge. Dowling looking pretty good out there. It's one thing catching him, Sammy, another thing entirely passing him.
And especially coming down to the last lap, he's going to have a big dive, possibly affect the slide job, and he's going to have to do it from a little ways back, but don't put it past him, it's possible.
Here we go, last corner now, and Dowling down on the inside of a slower car, so he didn't give Shane Stewart an opportunity in the end. And an excellent race win to the driver of car number 87. Stewart was not far away. Nash also, very solid performance there, holding out Luke Dillon and Sheldon Brady, rounding out the top 5 there in heat race number 2. A massive thank you to AHG, your motoring partner, principal sponsor of sprint car racing here in the West, and indeed AHG making our coverage possible tonight, along with Chequered Flags, a regular weekly partner, Valvoline Engine Armour. There is your race winner. Let's head downstairs to Charmaine.
Carl, the boys are telling me to tell you it's about time you won a heat race.
Yeah, look, we've probably had not the greatest run the last couple of weeks, so against some pretty stiff opposition, but no, look, we had to make the most of it. Didn't time trial all that well tonight, so big thanks to the guys. Car's good, so got the job done off the front, so we'll line up for the next one off the rear, I think.
Awesome. So will you be changing anything for the next heat race?
Not a huge amount. Car was pretty good, I think, so we'll just have to see what the track does and then we'll change according to that. So big thanks to our sponsors, Decandelo, Steel City and AV Truck Services and Consolidated Diesel. So.
All right, well, your dad said you can have a slushie for this win, so off you go.
Thanks, Charmaine. Thanks.
Bringing you the best action in Australian Speedway every week, this is Checkered Flag, presented by Valvoline Engine Armour. And it's good to have your company tonight on Speed. We're broadcasting from the multi-million-dollar Perth Motorplex, located at Kwinana Beach. It's the AHG Sprintcar Series, and tonight's event doubling as a tribute race to the iconic General John Day, whom you'll meet later on tonight's program. He'll be the subject of a feature story. Earlier there was a major drama during time trials involving the popular driver Kai Scroop. And for more on that, let's go down to Charmaine.
David, going back to time trials, the fuel line out of Kai Scroop's car actually fell out and it's caused him to catch on fire pretty severely. So they've rushed him straight to hospital, which is why we haven't been able to speak to him, but we wish him a speedy recovery.
Yeah, we certainly do. Thanks, Charmaine. Absolutely graphic vision being recorded on the infield earlier during the time trials process. And Sammy, that's scary stuff for any driver. We should explain these cars run methanol fuel and the flame is clear.
The flame burns clear, which makes it very hard, especially in the daylight, to see. So the guys on the infield probably wouldn't even have been aware that the car was on fire when he pulled up. I guess you know, sometimes you forget the dangers of this sport, and you know, hopefully he's okay.
There's a grid on screen for heat race number 3. Warren, a comment from you in relation to that Kai Scroop incident, every race car driver's nightmare.
Yeah, I think fire's the scariest thing there is, and especially a daytime fire. You know, no one can see what's going on, like Sammy said, and you're waiting for something to burn before you can tell what's happening.
So Luke Dillon on the inside in car 26 has been passed off the start. An electrifying beginning to the race by the American Shane Stewart, who came storming through from a couple of rows back, and he takes the lead from Ben Element. That is very slick, Sammy.
It is very slick. They're all up on the cushion trying to get around the fast way. Shane got an excellent start, just dove right across the bottom and stole Ben's line away and affected the slide job and got the lead.
I reckon Luke Dillon would have backed himself there, Warren, to lead into the first corner, but the other two were like they were shot out of a gun.
Yeah, it's amazing when you're on a racetrack like this, you can see there's two definite lines there, and you just can't get the wheels to hook up on that slick stuff.
There's Element and under seats from Dillon. That's what you call a slide job, yes sirree, on the inside. And Element repays the favour. Now Dillon goes down on the inside too. We pick this action up from the infield camera. The leader's gone, but what about this for a battle?
You know, a nice wide racetrack. You see these guys duking it out. It's great to see.
It's what sprint car racing is all about. Valvoline Engine Armour replay. Heat race number 3. This is the battle for second spot.
Fantastic show of racing. You know, side by side action, slide jobs, and what a nice wide slick track with a good cushion does is produce good racing.
A lot of car control there from Luke Dillon too to pull that car up after sliding through,
and a lot of respect from either of them as well.
Yeah.
There's the race update for you, mid-race distance, and you're looking at the leader top of screen, Shane Stewart, the American professional. In car number 17, we've gone amber on the speedway. That's because we have had a problem with the driver of car number 24, Troy Beckingham, looping the model. Fortuitously for him, has not come into contact with the wall or with any other cars, so no major drama done. They now grid up again, side by side formation, and Stewart will be hard to toss here from the front row. Has done more laps in his racing career probably than the rest of this field combined.
And Dillon got a great start there on the outside. He was able to put it in that little bit juicier stuff up above the slick and drive off and get around Ben Element.
Yeah, these guys are all starting to move upstairs now in an effort to attain maximum traction. This battle continues to rage between Dillon and Element. This is fabulous stuff at the Perth Motorplex, and Element has the ascendancy for the moment. Dillon prepared to stick it down almost on the curb, looking for some moisture down there. Didn't work for him. He's dropped a heap of ground.
Yeah, he made a mistake. He should have followed the cushion then and waited till the next turn.
I think maybe Luke's probably a little inexperienced on a track like this. You know, watching on the outside, it's obviously easy to critic someone, but you know, I think Benny's just got that little bit of experience on the big open Kwinana Motorplex.
Shane Stewart, lovely shot of the American off turn number 4. He's going to win this one in consummate ease. He has put a massive gap between he and his nearest rival, keeping the thing off the wall, but at the same time looking to plant the right rear in the darker ribbon of dirt. He takes the checkered flag comfortably in heat race number 3. Element was second. Really enjoyed that scrap between he and Luke Dillon. Jamie Maiolo in car 99 was next in advance of Sheldon Brady, the driver of car number 6. So it was very much a Shane Stewart clinic, and that was always going to be the case once he got to the front. That's the type of track he races on every other weekend in the United States, to be fair. He's a very good driver and has spent a lot of time racing here over the years.
He has. He's, you know, on a track like that, he's very experienced, and I think the other guys should be worried because he looked pretty awesome in that heat race.
He ran the entire World Series Sprint Cars campaign for Luke's Monty. Here's Charmaine, let's hear from him.
Well done on your win, Shane. You certainly blew past those few cars in the beginning of that heat race and kept your line really well.
Yeah, no, it just really helped to start on the outside here. It's so slick on the bottom, and it's pretty typical of this place. And you know, they kind of turned the lights out there kind of at the last minute, and I don't know if the 26 was really ready to go or not, but you know, I got a great car underneath me, and Dylan and Trace and Buzzy have done a good job as usual, and just can't thank Luch enough. He does a lot for the sport, and I'm pretty blessed to be involved with him and all the guys he's got working on the car.
Now tell us, is the track similar to what you race on at home tonight? Slick?
Yeah, it's really slick, and you know, it's going to be up around the fence, and which is similar to what we were used to at home. And you know, it's typical Kwinana. You know, it's got a little bit of a cushion, and like I said earlier, it really does help to start on the outside, and we were fortunate to start fourth instead of third, and got a good jump, and yeah, but the car feels great, and hopefully we can fine-tune it a little bit and put on a good show for the fans.
Well, good luck for the feature.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Really enjoys his racing in Australia, does Shane Stewart. And he's a revered character on the global sprint car scene. I mean, I'll ask you guys, as present-day racers yourself, Shane Stewart, he's got to be in the upper echelon.
He certainly is. He's proven his worth at Knoxville over the last couple of years. He can run series with the ASCS and win those. And I tell you, the other thing he does is jump in and out of different rides and different cars, and he adjusts very quickly.
I think this year he's got something like 4 different teams that are they're actually supplying cars for him to race in the States this year. So he's definitely versatile and a hell of a racer.
Okay, so the action set to continue here in heat race number 4 with Cameron Gessner in car 41 inside second row. Well worth watching. Picked up a couple of feature race wins early in the season. And
Kendrick had a bit of trouble there on the start for some reason. He veered right and took out the guy on the outside. I think I'm surprised they didn't take it back.
He's charging towards the front now. Ultra aggressive tonight is Jason Kendrick on the inside of Cameron Gessner. That won't bother Gessner. He loves that stuff.
Gessner cheating the cushion a little bit and allowing Kendrick to sort of be all over him. I think if Kendrick wants to get the job done, he needs to get up nice and close and choose his line from there.
So the Corroa Motorsport entry, machine 41, the race car, or the team that previously Ken Sartori used to race for. Gessner stepping into the seat this season. Done a fabulous job. The 92.9 FM Kendrick Motorsport entry is making life pretty difficult for our race leader at the moment. Gessner would be able to hear that snarling V8 right behind him. He'll keep his head down in an effort to maximise his points haul here in this heat.
Cameron's really struggling to enter on the cushion, which is allowing Kendrick to run right up in the middle of the corner. And he's actually having trouble because he has to slow down right in the middle. He effects the perfect slide job there, takes the line away from Cameron, gets up on the moisture, and now I believe he'll take off.
All right, so let's see what Gessner's got for him. In reply, that was a lovely piece of sprint car driving by Kendrick. Copybook slide job, really. Down onto the inside Warren and affected the pass beautifully.
Yeah, you see him gas it up just as he gets into the corner, and then back pedals the car so he can grab the cushion. That's the way you do it. Take the guy's line away and he can't drive through you.
Didn't look like touching either. It was spectacular but safe. Kendrick, Gessner, the two Maiolos and Wells, the Valvoline engine armour. A race update for you in heat number 4. There's no doubt that our leader is the quickest car out there, has got to the front and is frankly driving away from Gessner now. On board with David Priolo. Had an unwelcome holiday imposed on him by officialdom following the state title at Bunbury just after Christmas. Good to see him back in the seat. I'm a big Priolo fan. He's very good for the sport. Understands the theatre, the entertainment, but a heck of a racer too. Talking about penalties being imposed, word now coming through from officialdom that this man on screen, Jason Kendrick, will be relegated 2 spots because of that incident at the start of the race that Warren Ferguson picked up an indiscretion. So Kendrick across the line first, but he's in fact going to be moved back to 3rd. He'll be filthy about that. So there's the recap of placings in the final qualifying heat tonight. Gessner given the win in advance of Mayolo and Kendrick, and Priolo and Wells were the next 2 cars on the circuit. So Jason Kendrick, there he is, and looks a little unhappy. We'll attempt to grab a word with him, talking to his dad, Jeff, of course, the owner of the team, and also the CEO of the Sprintcar Insurance Group, and a director of Speedway Australia, and the chairman of World Series Sprint Cars. Here's more.
Jason, you were absolutely hammered down in that heat race, but from what I just heard you say, you've been relegated 2 positions?
Yeah, they relegated me for the start, which I think is one of the most ridiculous calls I've ever heard. I don't control the person in the car next to me. He just turned left and drove into the side of me, but what are you going to do? Got to put up with these ridiculous calls.
So who turned into the side of you?
Lee Nash started on the outside of me, and I don't know, it is what it is. We'll just win from wherever we start anyway. We'll have to get on the gas.
All right, well, thanks for your time.
Thanks.
That's the only attitude you can have, and I don't know, what do you guys think? You saw the replay, we saw it at the time.
Yeah, look, I think Jason was on the bottom and he was running a bit high. He was trying to find that moisture.
Let's go back to Charmaine. She's with Cameron Gessner.
Cam, we're here talking to you again. Jason Kendrick just got put back 2 positions for allegedly driving into someone else, but which means you take the win.
Yeah, we probably needed that. We didn't have such a great first heat, but yeah, we're still working on this car. We just got it back this week. We got straightened from Bunbury last weekend, so it's a little bit of an unknown at the moment. We're just finding a few things with it. So all in all, we're going all right. We hopefully will be in the shootout. I think there's a shootout, and we'll see.
So do you think you'll change anything for the feature race?
Yeah, we'll change a few things. I was a little bit tight from the centre of the corner out then, which was making it hard. So don't know what we're going to change yet, but we'll have a talk about it and we'll make a couple of little changes, and hopefully that might be the key.
All right, well, I'll let you get to the meeting.
Thank you.
Cameron Gessner, we know how good he is, Sammy. I'd have to describe him as underrated in terms of the fact that he's always just flying below the radar, but on his night can win anything.
Definitely a hard charger. I mean, we've seen earlier in the season he's very tough to beat, and hopefully he'll be up there tonight racing it out.
There's Mark Wells preparing it. There's Randy Hannigan. Let's go to Charmaine.
Just going to have a lie down with Randy here. How you going, Randy? You having a little nap before the feature race?
Oh, no, just sitting here thinking about what I can do to make my car a little bit better.
And what are you thinking you're going to do?
I've tried everything, so my next step is to go get a can of paint and change the color of it. Maybe that'll help it.
Oh, a can of paint.
Yeah.
I thought you said a can of paint. I was like, no, you don't want to do that.
No, a can of paint. We're going to change the color because we've changed everything else.
Oh, no. Well, tell us a bit about your stay in WA, how you finding it. You've been here before, right?
Yes, my last stay here was 13 years ago, but it's everybody that I tell in the United States, this is God's country over here in Perth. So, it's a pleasure to be here, and I just wish we were running a little bit better, but my team's working really hard, getting the car where I'm comfortable and where we can drive it. We just when we need to be on the A side, we're on the B side, and when we're on the B side, we need to be on the A side. So hopefully we can get something together here for the feature and give the Muir Motorsports team something to be proud of.
Speedway racing is more than just the drivers and their cars. It's the people behind the scenes who help make the sport the spectacle that it is. In Western Australian circles, John Day has been the flag bearer and marshal for more than 50 years. A lifelong Speedway fan, the Smash Repair proprietor has been bringing his convoy of utes to every meeting at the Motorplex since its inception in 2001. and for over 3 decades prior to that at Claremont Showground, which was the longest running speedway in the world before its closure in 2000. As a young entrepreneur, Day saw speedway racing as a great marketing tool to promote his then fledgling business.
Well, I decided to start off in my own business, panel beating and painting, and I thought the only way I can advertise is as a speedway fan. I used to watch it from the outside, but then I done up a utility and painted it orange, and it started off from then. I had 1 ute, then I had 2 down there, then I had 3 down at Claremont, and it just went on from there. We now run a 10.
So you have a fleet of 10 cars?
Yes, we run 10 cars every speedway night, and the Fast Fridays, whatever.
It wasn't long before fellow speedway enthusiast, commentator and longtime friend Con Migro nicknamed him the General. However, things could have been very different, as history points out.
I like the General better than the Colonel. The reason we swapped from Colonel was that there is another Colonel around, and he's an announcer, the same as Con, and Con nicknamed me the General because I'm usually leading the field.
And you certainly do it well, John. Tell us, your family's hugely involved in Speedway. I know you've got your wife and your 4 daughters. That must be amazing. It makes it a big family event for you.
I tell you what, it makes it easy on me because they're all revheads and they love Speedway. And there's no argument about, no, I don't want to go there, I don't want to go there. No, it's all good.
This is your Saturday night out now.
Yeah, that's right.
And why do you love Speedway so much, John? What is it that gets it for you? You know, what does it do for you?
Well, I've always loved mucking around with cars, and I served my apprenticeship as a panel beater, and it went from there. And I just love mucking around with cars.
Having spent almost the same amount of time in the sport, Migro recalls some fond memories with his good friend.
Well, there's been plenty of them. One thing about it is when you go away on a trip with him, he always makes enough food to feed all of Australia. So he's very good at that. And the other one, of course, is the night that we had a real big night at the Claremont, and he was in front of a TV, and everything was on there, and he was going around and the car hit, well, the starter ute hit the curb, and the right rear tyre punctured, and it flipped it over, and old General's sitting in the cage. Over she went.
Because he's strapped into the ute, isn't he?
He was strapped in, but he wasn't hurt, and that was good. And of course, I nicknamed him the General, as you probably might know, and that's been a lot of fun. So over the year, we always kid him. Has he got the general ideas? He know what he's doing, all that sort of stuff. But he's a great man, and I'm really pleased tonight that Gavin and the mob here at the Perth Motorplex are honouring him.
The Salute to the General event has been created to honour Day's contribution to the sport and follows on the 50th year celebrations held last season. The ultimate tribute was when David Priolo unveiled a special livery honouring the General, thus inspiring him to victory at the final round of World Series Sprint Cars in the 2011-2012 season. Whilst humbled by the honour bestowed upon him, he is modest by his contribution to the sport.
Well, I don't class myself a hero because I'm just a little cog in a big wheel. But Speedway people are just my family, through and through, and I love them.
Now, is retirement on the cards for you, General, or have you got a hell of a lot more years to go?
That's a debatable sort of a question. I don't know when it'll be, but while I'm enjoying it, I'll be there.
On Speed, the home of motorsport, you're watching Chequered Flag, proudly supported by Valvoline Engine Armour. And a huge thank you to Valvoline for its continued support of Australia's only weekly Speedway television show. Welcome back to the Perth Motorplex. The finale on what has been a tremendous night of sprint car racing now comes your way. You can follow Chequered Flag on Twitter and Facebook. Check it out for all upcoming episodes. What a great sight, guys. If this doesn't turn you on, Sammy, you haven't got a switch.
That's right. Seeing 20-odd sprint cars, light them up on an awesome racetrack. We're in for an awesome feature race, I believe.
Okay, so Warren, we have the American Shane Stewart scheduled to start on the front row. He will be really hard to stop.
He's going to be very tough, and just looking at the way they were gridding up, I think Shane's picking the outside groove, which is going to make it very hard for Jason to get off the line.
Yeah, Kendrick up front. Dylan, Element, first couple of rows, very impressive. Cameron Gessner out of 5, watch out for him. Mayolo, Priolo, Wells, Brady and Pigden, they occupy the first 10 spots on the grid. Next row is Nash and Dowling, Williamson and Hannigan. He's got a lot of work to do from 14. Nash, Mayolo, Brady, Beckingham, Michael Good and Daniel Harding. And a further 2 cars starting out of positions 21 and 22 respectively. It's Terry and Lancaster. Again, I'd like to acknowledge the support of AHG, your motoring partner, principal sponsor of this fabulous series in Western Australia. And Shane Stewart on the outside got a wonderful start. Kendrick relegated back to second. Ben Element almost finds the wall there on the first couple of corners. Let's see what transpires here as the American professional crosses the start-finish line at the end of lap number 1. And Element has had issues in car 44. That will be his race run, you would think.
Looks like Benny might have tagged the wall and done some right rear damage or something. As you can see, the car falling on that corner pretty heavily. Shane still leading out front and using the cushion to his advantage.
On board now with David Priolo, who as always is running strongly in this event. You can see how many wings there are behind him. Shane Stewart, meantime, the race leader, is careering away with this one. Love that onboard shot. You can see the nature of the left rear and the way it's moving around on the circuit and changing shape. There's our leader, Stewart, on his way to victory.
Tyre choice probably would have been will be a key factor by the end of the race. We've already seen when we're on board with Priolo that the left rear tyre was actually smoking running around the cushion.
Pigden having problems, you can see there in the 19 car. There's Jason Kendrick in machine number 11. We've got orange lights on here as Shane Stewart heads back onto the main straight. Pigden, the car I alluded to, pulling up in a precarious position. Officialdom left with no option, Warren, other than to throw the orange lights.
No, they certainly weren't.
So, Stewart to lead them away. Jason Kendrick, then Luke Dillon. It's a pretty handy top 3, albeit early in the race. Cameron Gessner's not far away either. We go straight on board with the race leader for Valvoline Engine Armour.
That footage there shows that there's not much of an inside groove. That track's so shiny and slick you can't get any traction. And the guys are running that narrow groove up near the cushion to go forwards.
Yeah, you can see how high up Stewart is. Jason Kendrick following suit. There is only one fast way around here at the moment. Passing is going to be very, very challenging because the cushion is pretty thin, pretty narrow. Great shot there.
There's a couple of guys working on the bottom, Randy Hannigan, and I think that was Priolo behind him. So Randy there must be finding a way of making that bottom work. Maybe he did change the paint on that car.
No, he didn't. It's still the same. There's a different onboard perspective. David Priolo, the Valvoline Engine Armour race cam. You can see Mayolo over on the right-hand side running a very different line to Priolo. Just absolutely love that onboard shot. There's the leader switching.
Stewart nearly got himself in trouble there. He went to go around the lap car and got caught in the cushion and nearly ended up in the fence.
Oh, the Brady machine, car number 6, getting out of shape. And we're going to go orange here on the speedway again. I can't leave him there. So Sheldon Brady bringing on the ambers, providing the car will start. He'll be given the opportunity of restarting, but it will be at the back by virtue of being the cause of the stoppage.
I think Kendrick may have something a little bit for Shane. He actually ran him down there a little bit in traffic, so we may be in for a great race to the finish.
Look how close Kendrick is. He's staying right behind the American. Dillon is doing likewise, I should mention, to Jason Kendrick. Cameron Gessner in 41 is running in 4th position. You can see there Dillon went to the bottom of the speedway. It didn't work for him. So they're certainly out there trying things at the moment, as you've got to do.
You do have to search around. I mean, if things change and you miss it, you could go backwards really quickly. So I think the best thing that could happen to the bottom at the moment is that maybe if it took a little bit of rubber, the guys could use it a to advance forward, hopefully maybe at the end of the race. But while everybody's on the cushion going as fast as they are now, it's going to be pretty strung out.
Tell you who else is coming quickly into contention here. It's Mark Wells, currently involved in a great battle for 4th position. There is Luke Dillon, the South Australian, and that's the American Shane Stewart out in front. Kendrick is next, then Dylan Gessner and Mark Wells. Great shot of the Miracle Recreation Equipment car in full flight. The fence cam gives you a wonderful insight in terms of how close they run to the concrete wall. And again, we see Stewart having to get out of it. Wow, that's a massive wreck. Alan Nash in car 51. Any wonder Shane Stewart slowed. And Nash is moving around in the car. The crash crew very quickly on the scene. Let's check out the Valvoline engine armour replay. Slightly wider angle. I'm led to believe it won't show too much more, but Nash riding out a big one. And for more on that, let's head down to the infield. Our intrepid reporter, Charmaine Kendrick.
Nashi, that was a big crash.
Yeah, I haven't had one like that for a while. We just slid up and I touched Lee's left rear and it was all over. Just go for a ride.
Yeah, I just saw it on the big screen then. That was looked like it flipped about 4 times.
Yeah, it just kept crunch, crunch, crunch. I thought, is this going to stop? But the boys had the car full of GoPros, so I guess they'll have a lot of good view.
Oh, that'll be good YouTube footage.
Yeah, it'll probably end up there. But while I'm here, I'd like to thank my sponsors, HA Young and Hobbs Heavy Haulage, and my wife Nikki. She's not here, so she's not going to be very happy.
Well, good sport and good luck for next week, hey?
No worries, tough.
Hey, it's on fire! Hey!
So Alan Nash has just spotted another fire in the 51 car, marshalling the troops here on the infield. Now, Ben Element out of the race very early. Let's find out more about that.
I noticed you hit the wall or something in the first lap. Run us through what happened.
Something very rare for us. We broke a torsion arm there on the right rear going into the first corner, and that's all she rode. Unfortunately,
it was all over.
It's going to make it pretty hard from here on in.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, despite his bad luck, Ben Element still managing a smile. It will make it hard for him from now on. So race restart coming up. I should mention too, still a couple of major events coming your way from this venue on Checkered Flag in coming weeks. The Sprintcar Silver Cup and the Gold Cup season-ending AHG Grand Final. You'll see them exclusively on Checkered Flag. Shane Stewart heads for home. A lightning restart. Look at him go, the boy.
He's got the bit between his teeth, and he's taken off like a bullet. He's headed for that big trophy at the end.
Randy Hannigan, we ride on board again and continues to be committed to the bottom of the speedway, Warren.
Yeah, he is. He's obviously found something to make it work down there because nobody else is able to go forwards from the bottom.
Jason Kendrick is still second, but not able to get close to the leader. That's precision car control, isn't it? Drifting up towards the wall and managing to keep the thing off it.
Yeah, he's dicing with the fence there, and I tell you what, there's sometimes there's just a paper between his right rear and that concrete.
Got to be exhilarating stuff for a driver at this sort of speed, big, wide open spaces.
I'm sure it's a lot of fun, and it's something he's definitely used to, coming from, the successes he's had at places like Knoxville and big half miles, and all the way down to the short tracks. He's as I said earlier, he's a versatile racer and very tough to beat.
You guys race predominantly in Sydney, which is unique by virtue of the fact the speedway track doesn't have a concrete wall on the immediate perimeter, as is the case with a normal speedway. That's because there's an old trotting track on the outside. If you were to come here tonight and race, how much would you have to change what you normally do?
I think you respect it, wouldn't you say, Sammy? You respect that concrete.
Yeah, sometimes it can actually, some people don't like not having the fence because they haven't got the guide of the fence to show them the perimeter of the racetrack. I find it a little bit hard to see the edge of the racetrack sometimes at Parramatta, but again, you've got that extra bit of room to make a mistake, whereas at Kwinana or somewhere like Wanneroo you don't, as Priolo just found out.
Oh, we're riding on board with Dave Priolo. He's hit the wall. He's still circulating, but appreciably slower. Oh, we're going to head for a caution here. And Priolo, car doesn't look in too bad a shape, but the onboard shot graphically showed the contact. We'll take you back through it again. On the Valvoline engine armour replay, just got out of shape.
I think he just hit the cushion a little bit in the middle of the corner. The cushion sort of seems to have a bit of a bump in it, and possibly just dragged the front across and touched the fence.
Meantime, Jason Kendrick is out of the race. Here's Charmaine.
Jason, you were coming in second. Tell us what happened.
I just screwed up.
Okay. I think we'll leave it at that. He's not very happy.
Well, Charmaine would know. She does live in the same household as Jason Kendrick, who's clearly agitated. The bottom of the car was sitting right down on the ground, so he's obviously had a big moment. Hard to imagine anyone stopping the man in front, boys.
He took an interesting line there into turn one. He dropped to the bottom. I think Shane felt like he didn't get off the start and needed to protect.
Possibly could be a little bit of rubber going down. Most of the top 5 cars actually drop straight to the bottom into turn one, so maybe there's an opportunity to get to the bottom.
Yeah, but he's gone straight back up top now with the momentum. There's Luke Dillon on screen in the 26 car, running the machine normally driven by Ryan Farrell.
There's definitely rubber down on that racetrack. If you have a look at the way that car just came off turn 4, I think it was, with Shane, he got drive down there, and if you have a look at the tyres, you'll see the top of the tyres where they contact the track going very black.
Yeah, there's definitely rubber laid down now from the curb a couple of metres out. The onboard shot shows it quite well, in fact.
And Shane's just figured that out, seeing the lap car probably move a little bit quicker. He's dropped to the bottom as well.
So the Diamond Motorsport entry there of Luke Dillon continuing to run strongly. It will take a miracle, if you'll pardon the pun, for someone to catch the driver of car number 17. As I mentioned earlier in the call, this track, well, I mean, he eats it for breakfast. He'd race on something like this 200 days a year.
Yeah, very, very commonplace in the States, you know, especially obviously through summer when it's a bit hotter, but you know, the tracks are generally smooth and slick and possibly even take a bit of rubber, but yeah, he's just having a field day out there at the moment, just smoking by everybody.
Yeah, and as we predicted with the rubber, now Shane Stewart completely changes his approach to the race. Oh, we've got a car into the wall on turn number 4. It's Lee Nash. Well, he got caught up with Allen a little earlier. Allen paid the price. This time Lee pays the price. Big night for the Nashes, for the wrong reasons. Unfortunately, our main camera there following the progress of the race leader, so we didn't see the way it started, but clearly he's gone in hard.
And Nick Good did an excellent job to avoid him.
Tell us what happened. You seem to be going pretty good.
Yeah, like I was watching everyone fall out, and we missed that heat that Jason got us, and it just hurts you. You know, you miss track time, you miss your setup and stuff like that, and you go out out of 15th, and it's just a guessing game. Like, you know, we're a little bit tight to run up there, but there's nowhere else to run, and you know, I was just on that last restart, I was thinking, you know what, let's just try and get a couple more spots and I'll do anything stupid. So
just bring it home, you're thinking.
Yeah, what do? I do something stupid. So, but, you know, it's unfortunate, you know, the Laura Wormel's car and, you know, Rogue Racing and Darryl Clayton and all the boys, they work so hard and they give me a good package, and I just feel for them for mucking it up for them. So.
Yeah, the interesting thing there, Lee Nash, as we watch these cars restart, I'll come back to it in a moment. We'll just focus on this race restart. It's all Shane Stewart again. Guys, he was puffing there. The physicality, the rigours of running a 900 horsepower car on a track like this tonight, how difficult is it physically?
It's hard work. It's like putting a couple of 3 kilo dumbbells in each hand and swinging them out in front of you for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's really tough, especially another point I think can be really important is on a track like tonight when they were up against the fence, sometimes you're concentrating so hard, I think the mental toughness or the mental drain, it actually affects you physically as well.
Fair enough. Shane Stewart on his way to victory in the salute to the General, and he takes it tonight at the Perth Motorplex. Luke Dillon, solid drive in second. Cameron Gessner, good job. Callum Williamson did very well, so did Randy Hannigan, storming through from position 14 on the grid, and a major drama at the back end of the race with car number 6, Brady, getting into all sorts of trouble. That's Sheldon Brady. A terrible way for him to finish the night. Now the Valvoline Engine Armour race recap. We go right back to the start of the race, and Shane Stewart predictably got a great start. Kendrick tried really hard to stay with him. This was an incident that led to a stoppage. Trent Pigden, and another one with Sheldon Brady, who was parked precariously. As the action continued, Shane Stewart was up on the top of the track and making every post a winner.
Yeah, he probably narrowly avoided anything to do with the crash with Nash there.
That was a big crash. We heard from Alan Nash. David Priolo, we were riding on board with him, and he clouded the concrete wall. No major drama done. And of course, we then also saw at the back end of the race another major incident involving Lee Nash. So clearly a terrible night for the Nashes. Mick Good doing a good job to avoid that. But it was all Shane Stewart, the winner here tonight.
Cam, well done, third place tonight.
Yeah, we'll take it. I guess we're the first chase car home, so we've had a pretty tired couple of weeks, so a finish is pretty good for us. We're going to take it. I probably had second. I just slipped up in the rubber there one time and changed the mode before the final and just killed it. So at least we know what the problem is now. We just can't give the motor too much fuel. Sorry, that's only sweat. It's actually.
I'll never wash my face again.
I just want to thank Ray and Steve and all the Quora Motorsports guys. They've had a really big week, or really big couple of weeks, and putting cars together and pulling them apart because they're wrecked. So congratulations to Monty Motorsport and Shane and Luke and the Diamond Bay Motorsport team. It was good.
Congratulations on your second place.
Yeah, thanks very much. That was a pretty eventful race. There was a lot going on. Got past a bit during the middle. Just sticking to the top. I think the two in front of me were doing the top so well. I didn't think the bottom was going to work, but it did. But luckily, I got back to second, and that's where we ended up, I guess.
That was an awesome race.
Yeah, it was. It definitely helped to start on the front row, and you never really want to see good cars fall out. I'm not really sure what happened to Jason, but on that last caution, or the one before the last one, I could feel that I could actually see the lap cars being able to keep up with me on the bottom, and I knew that there was a little bit of rubber down there, and sometimes you're a sucker when you're leading because you can't find stuff like that on the racetrack, but we were fortunate enough to have the yellows fall our way. And
well done to Shane Stewart. Appreciate him spending time with us. So there's the state of play in the series at the completion of tonight's event. Gessner marginally on top in advance of Callum Williamson and then Mark Wells and Brad Maiolo. So with a couple of major events still to run in the series, it is anybody's championship in 2013, there is no doubt. A reminder about Speedway Racing News magazine, the April issue now on sale around Australia. For further info about its contents, visit Facebook and Twitter. $5.95 at a newsagent near you. Now, next week on Chequered Flag, an absolute cracker coming your way. It's the grand final of the prestigious Icon Suspension Sidecar Grand Slam from the Curry Speedway in the New South Wales Hunter Valley region. 8:30 p.m. next Wednesday night Eastern. The world's best riders and the world's bravest passengers. You've got to see that to believe it, quite frankly. And speaking of sidecars, Speed screening a special standalone special, a 90-minute special of the Australian Championship that comes your way on April 25, Thursday night, Anzac Day at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Gentlemen, good to work with you tonight. Sammy, thanks for your contribution.
Thanks, David. It's a great start to the chase, and I look forward to more.
And we'll catch you next time sprint cars appear on Chequered Flag. Warren, good job, mate.
Yeah, thanks, David. Quite a nice, exciting race at the Motorplex.
So there's our top three tonight. Thanks for being with us on Chequered Flag. We will see you next week.
You've been watching Chequered Flag on Speed, proudly supported by Valvoline Engine Armour.